Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Bao, and this week we're going to make something with gears and sprockets. I recently saw this video of the statue called the Statue of Eternal Love. There's these two statues where they're moving toward each other and they look like they're going to collide, but they just pass through each other. So I thought that'd be a pretty cool idea to try to make. So let's get into it.
When you watch the video, you can see the bottom base of the statues. They're just revolving in circle. There's no chain of sprockets, so this isn't the design we want to go with. So I saw this other YouTuber named Jay. He creates kinetic art, and in this one he also uses chain and sprocket and moving these two nines around. The main difference between his is the nines never change orientation, but for mine I'm gonna have to have my pieces always facing the inside. So we're in SolidWorks. We modeled it out, and now we're gonna just send it and see how it goes.
We have our test piece right here, and I have this gear I'm gonna put in the center, and it spins fairly well. I add another one in, and it also spins pretty well. I put in the third piece, it spins pretty well also, so great. So the gears are working, and now we have this gear and sprocket. I put our two gears and sprockets together, and they spin. It spins pretty well, not a problem at all. I 3D printed this little drill, and now when I put it in here, can't really see it, but there it goes. 3D printed this giant gear, and because the gear ratio is so much larger, it will spin slower, but then it will have more torque. I'm like barely spinning my big gear, but you can see all the little gears move like really quickly. But it's too big. Everything seems to be okay, but it always gets stuck. And then I realized that the way I was building it was causing this to lift up. Coming out. I thought it would be easy, but whatever. So we're gonna go back, we're gonna do it a different way. This is gonna be my mount. These ball bearings were what I have in storage, so they're a little bigger than what I actually need, but they'll work. I have my sprocket, my other sprocket, one of my gears, and another gear. To correct the belt tension, instead of having it fixed in place, I made a little slot, and this will allow me to just pull it apart and give it the tension that we need, and then we just tighten it into place. It was a lot easier to do it that way. I also 3D printed these little spacers. You need the spacers pressed down onto the other ball bearings, so you can just spin it freely. Otherwise, you'll have everything pressing down on the same side and you just won't be able to spin it. So each sprocket and gear will get one, except the middle one. I also printed these M8 screws. You can actually just use regular M8 screws, like 1 inch. So we have our middle gear right here, and we put on our spacer, screw it through, get our pliers, and we're just going to tighten this. And since this one's just spinning, I'm not gonna put a screw, so here we go. Now I have my sprocket with my ball bearings, and I'm gonna put the spacer in between, get this down, and for security measures, I'm just putting the extra screw right here. Okay, so spinning fairly well. Now I have this really small motor. I'm gonna put it through this way, where the cable can go out in this direction. 3D printed all of these. They are kind of flimsy. Oh man. And that's what I was worried about. And we're gonna mount our screws right through this. These are M3 screws. I only have 2 M3 screws, but it's enough to hold it for now. All right, pretty snug. We just grab our gear here, put it in, and there we go. Lastly, we have our last sprocket here. Grab here, our M8 screw that you can just put it through the hole and then scram the nut. So this one doesn't have to be too tight for now because we're gonna put the chains on. So we have our chain links right here. This is 13 and these are 3s. These chain links right here is where the statue is gonna sit. And we have these extra pieces down here so when the statue sits on it, it doesn't sag the belt. So it keeps the exact same height. So let's connect them all together. And then snap in place. So you can see our belt tension is kind of loose. So this is why that slot was here, and it doesn't spin properly. So now that I have the tension well, it spins pretty well. So I marked all the magnets and each one are matching, so when we plug this into the statue they match properly. I'm telling you, it's important. Make sure you mark it properly, otherwise you're gonna mix them up and then you're gonna be like, fudge. Now that we have both of our 2 pieces mate like this, so the plan is to have them just slide on right through each other. So now we have all the magnets in place, and hopefully they do not collide. And it's looking okay. See? Oh, there's a buttocks. And here we have it. Now let's put the rest inside and wire everything up. This is my motor driver. I already flashed our motor driver into our Arduino board, and we can just put everything together. So I have this AC to DC adapter, outputs 12 volts at 2.5 amps. So I'm going to splice this and then split it into the input power for both of my board. We have our black and red. Just gonna strip my black and red. Here is my bottom base. I put a little hole right here, so I want it to go through here. And these 3 pins right here are for the Arduino board. So if you want to just be able to mount it into place like this, you can, but I'm not gonna do that. So I have this little adapter right here. So I'll put my blue, clip it, holds it into place, and put my red into this. Alright, so now I have it all wired up. I'm just going to grab this, put it inside my box. So now I have this other piece to put right on top, and I put it into place. We have our person here, we have the other person there.
And we are done assembling everything.
Alright everybody, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Originally we were struggling trying to get this to work with no ball bearings, but once we added those, everything seemed to work perfectly fine. Use ball bearings, it helps. It makes everything a lot easier. So be sure to like and subscribe, and peace!